All right, so now we're going to talk some more about Darwin's evolutionary theory and the process of natural selection, which Darwin's evolutionary theory is based on. All right, so Darwin and his buddy Wallace proposed that life's diverse forms arose through the process of descent with modification. Okay, so slight changes, okay, are handed down, and that is what we call natural selection, or how nature acts on it. All right. So individuals in each generation differ slightly from the generation before, and over long time periods, very long time periods, millions of years. These small differences from generation to generation accumulate to produce major transformations where we get new species, new life forms, etc. All right. So Darwin and Wallace's theory rests on 4 postulates. So the first one, postulate 1, individuals in a population vary. Okay. Not everyone is the same. Okay. People differ in size, eye color, skin color, other physical features, other phenotypes. And this variability, right, our genetic variation, ATION, that we have been talking about, meiosis, genetics, all that stuff. This variability is present in populations of other organisms. Okay, so all the different populations kind of accumulate these variations. And here we can see a population of snails. And as you see, they are not all the same. They vary in color. They're all about the same size-ish. They're all about the same shape-ish. They have the same swirly swirls. But there's different color variations and variations. There you go. All right. Postulate number 2. Traits are passed from parent to offspring. Okay. And basically, this is, again, remember, Darwin and Mendel were not contemporaries. So genetics was unknown to Darwin when he published Origin of the Species. Okay. Mendel later demonstrated basically that particular traits can be passed on to offspring. But Darwin almost didn't know that he was kind of basing all of his theory on the fact that traits are passed down genetically from parent to offspring. Okay. Postulate number 3. Okay. Because of variations in environment or what have you, some individuals fail to survive and reproduce. Okay. So the individuals who do survive long enough to reproduce are the ones who actually pass their genes on to the next generation. Okay. So in order for this postulate to exist, though, basically more organisms are born than survive long enough to reproduce. Okay, so there's kind of some attrition. And the last postulate, postulate number 4, survival and reproduction are not determined by chance. Okay, there are underlying factors that determine reproductive success. Okay, that reproductive success relies on the characteristics of an individual, those traits that they inherited from their parents. Okay, so in the competition to survive and reproduce, the winners are determined not by chance, but by the traits they possess. Okay, so those traits are then passed on to future generations, and they slowly modify organisms as they go along. Again, that's the descent with modification. My stylus is freaking out. Okay, descent with modification, etc. Okay, and that's kind of overall how natural selection works. Nature decides what traits are going to be the ones that make you most fit for the environment. If you're fit for the environment, you live long enough to reproduce and pass those genes on to the next generation. Okay? All right. So basically, this is what I said. Natural selection modifies population over time. Okay? And natural selection acts on individuals in a population, but individuals can't change. The population changes over time as different individuals survive long enough to reproduce and add to the population. Okay? So the percentages of individuals inheriting favorable traits will increase. Okay? And this is a big deal right here. You have to remember this. Individuals cannot evolve, but populations can evolve. Okay? And we'll talk about population evolution in the next chapter. I think that's all. The end. Okay.